Hi, I'm Dr. Scott Young, and today we're going to talk about a very interesting conversation. This is going on nationally, and I want you to see how ridiculous the media is, how little they can dig in. You see, when you're hearing some of the media, and it's even some of the alternate media that can't even listen between the lines, I want you to be able to do that, okay? Because when you don't listen between the lines, you're just like they are in that way, okay? Let's do this together. Now, Elon posted, now this is not in perfect order. This is not all the things that he does. He talks about Kill Bill. This is from a movie, it's actually one of my favorite movies. There's a fascinating movie with Quentin Tarantino, real bad guy, don't get me wrong, but Kill Bill, there's a Kill Bill 2. Um, Interesting movie in a lot of ways. She just goes and wrecks a whole gang, and several gangs actually with this too. And what he's talking about is the big, beautiful bill that Trump is talking gets into. And why does he talk about that? Because what he's getting into is that he talks about flattening the curve. Now, it's a little hard for you to see maybe here, so I'm going to kind of give you a little idea here from 1900 all the way through this century up through around the 80s. We had very little money in the national debt. But from 2010 on, basically from Obama on, we have massive growth of the national debt. And he's like, flatten the curve. And he's talking about rabbit hole, flatten the curve. Yeah, flatten the curve. Because in the big, beautiful bill, it doesn't flatten the curve. And we'll talk about that in a second. Okay. And then he uses this one as well. When we talk about Jimmy Carter, this is year over. I mean, this is Democrat and Republican. Elon used this one as well with when we had massive issues with right after Volcker had raised the rates to stem the inflation that was going crazy. Why did inflation go crazy around 71, right a little bit before Carter was in? And you go, well, ask the question. It's because, well, that would be Ford and a little bit of Nixon, because we went off the international gold standard. We were in a bankruptcy event. So, but here's the thing: the debt didn't go up that much. Reagan started to really increase the debt, started to spend a lot, and then Bush went even farther. Clinton flattened the curve. He really did fascinatingly flatten the curve. But Bush went to new levels of the curve. This is when we went into Iraq, and this is 9/11. This is when they stole so much. This is Nasara, the beginning of the first Nasara point that happens. And then Barack starts going absolutely crazy. Trump knocks it up another notch, and then here's COVID point, and then Joe Biden goes absolutely bonkers with the debt. Now, obviously, it's 37-ish trillion dollars. It's an unstoppable train. And this is, and here's what happens. We have Massie and we have Elon talking about this, right? But even in 2024, Massie, if you think that he's against all this, he's talking about abolish the Federal Reserve. You abolish the Federal Reserve, you turn off all the debts. He's talking about stop the COVID mandates. He's talking about quit taxing the tips. He's talking about this is all Nasara kind of stuff. But in 2025 here, a little bit about a couple 3 weeks ago, he's mentioning that the big beautiful bill has $20 trillion over the next 10 years. We're already at 36 trillion. I mean, we can't even deal with that kind of thing. And this is what they're actually talking about. This then makes everyone's head start to explode because we had this feud that starts going on with Trump and everyone else, and he starts getting off in crazy land. And then we have the Democrats say this: kill the bill, release the Epstein files. And I'm like, You what? I mean, as soon as they kind of make an announcement, I mean, and Elon makes an announcement that, oh, that Trump was in the was on one of those planes. He was actually on there twice, basically in the early 90s, and he kicked his butt off of the of any out of any of the Trump areas, actually participated the most with outing Epstein in the 2010 trials, when they were investigating. This is the only person that did anything of all those big people out there, because Epstein was an intel agent. I mean, he was a part of this. And I mean, I could never predict that the Democrats would actually put this out there. If you don't think we're watching a movie, then you're missing the point. And then these are several posts out there. Again, this is calling for the release, right? Swalwell, who has a major problem with Chinese agents. He slept with a Chinese agent. Is talking about release of the Epstein files. Harry Sisson, the crazy weirdo, is talking about releasing the Epstein files. Marcy Kaptur calls an immediate release of the unredacted Epstein files. ALC, immediate release of the Epstein files. Do you not see what's going on? And then people are overreacting to this. And then they actually have the fascinating point here that you're not seeing. Who then would actually say this? I want my records back, Elon. All of them, even the ABBA ones, I said you could keep. Now listen. If my wife and I, who are never going to get a divorce, we've been married for 32 years. If my wife and I were in the middle of a divorce, we actually do have some records right over there, okay? And yet we haven't even hooked up the record player for umpteen years, all right? I don't even know the number of years that we haven't hooked up the record player. Would that be one of the things that she would ask for? It would be the least thing that she would ask for. Now you might say, well, yeah, but that's how some people actually act. Come on, stop it here, okay? Do you not see the joke in here? Do you not see it? And not one person is realizing how stupid it is, how silly it is. And here's a great meme that they're sitting there laughing about how you just said that you're on the Epstein list. And here's the thing. If Trump was really on the Epstein list, which, by the way, he had flown to Florida just on the way, but he never went to the island. If Trump was truly on the Epstein list and flown out to the island and had done the ugly things like Gates did, like Obama did, like all of these sickos had done, the Epstein files would have easily been released during the 2024 timeframe. It would have been released and they would have torched Trump. Why? I want you to sit back and answer this question for me. Why wouldn't they have released it? Because it would have torched Kamala, who's probably in there, would have torched Bill Clinton, it would have torched Obama, it would have torched Biden, because he's a part of that thing too. It would have torched every single Democratic donor, all of the things. Now, it would have torched all the donors too. Why would the Democrats want to burn themselves? Think 3D here. This is a military operation. Now, listen, there are a couple things in the big, beautiful bill that I don't like. I don't like the $20 trillion over 10 years. I don't like the AI that can't be adjusted. And then you're freaking out and you're going, well, then you said we wanted to pass. I said that there is a part in there about farmers, family farmers, having a tax benefit for $10 billion. It's such an odd statement. Why weren't they talking about police officers or firefighters or teachers or pick the, auto workers or anyone else, postal workers, pick anyone else that you can come up with, right? Pick anyone. Why does he pick, I mean, even ranchers? But Trump brings up in the big, beautiful bill, and it's actually really strong in there, family farmers to get a tax break and $10 billion, because what $10 billion was stipulated for is to go into a gold-backed currency. Guys, this is about to flip. And when we go into a gold-backed currency, we kill off the Fed, we kill off the debt, we kill off the IRS, this whole thing, all of the stuff that Massie would be bugging about here is irrelevant. All of the debts are irrelevant because we have the 14th Amendment under the 4th section that says you do not pay back debts from international bankers, in essence. Okay, and that doesn't say the exactly words, but if you get into that, those who do insurrection from an international level, and what it's talking about, international level, those debts are invalid and void. And when it says kill the bill, it's such a fascinating way of talking about it in ways we cannot imagine. Most people's brains are focused on what they're saying out front. Can't people just talk to me straight? And I understand, I get it. But you know what? We don't even have reporters who can talk to us with reasonality, because and they can't dig out anymore. They're exposing the reporters because they're all idiots. They're all lunatic morons. They need to be deleted. They're so stupid, and they shouldn't even be in their profession, because this one here should actually be what they should be talking about. Come on, guys. Do you really think that's the case when this actually happens? And then here's actually a CNN poll. I want you to see this video.
Sort of
here.
See the parties. Which?
Let me pull back this up.
This is how Americans sort of see the parties. Which party is better described as the party with strong leaders? Look at this.
Wow.
16% of Americans say Democrats. 40% say that of the Republican Party. How do partisans talk about their own party? Right? So among Democrats and Democratic leaners, 32% say Democrats are the party with strong leaders. Only 41% of Democrats say they're the party that gets things done of their own kind. And I will just say, 51%, Manu, a majority of Democratic and Democratic leaners say neither party gets the party that gets things done attribute. Imagine that's the project that Democrats are working on.
And here's the problem. When you see that level of ridiculousness from one party, the 17th letter has said it best. The Democratic Party, when they have put together this kind of silliness, will cease to exist. But the reality is, maybe even the Republican Party might also cease to exist as well, because they are just as complicit on many other levels. Maybe not on the Epstein list, but they're so complicit on many other levels. They've kept the stupid and the lying going for a long time. This is a military operation to flip the systems all off and into a gold-backed currency. Guys, it's coming. I know it's frustrating. I know you want it to end. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Thanks so much.